Welcome back, everyone, to episode 6 of the Australian Empire. As you recall from episode 5, we do have 4 cities online now. We are also at war with France. We just recently claimed a builder on this island from the barbarians, and we're going to attempt to send them back to our homeland and put them to good use. It will involve getting peace with France, which I don't think will be anytime in the near future. We also have some allies that are granting us vision on this side of the map over here. And we do have a horseman over here on this island just to the west of Norway here. It's taking some damage from this hurricane here. We'll heal him up and send him down into the last little bit of the map that it looks like that we don't have vision on yet. With that being said, let's hop right in. We've got 3 turns until the medieval era ends here. We're going to take this scout and continue to walk him through the open borders we have with America. Looks like these Chinese cities are flipping to America. Got this damaged quadrime that we're sending back to our territorial waters to get healed up. We have an archer down here that we'll put on alert to range defend this city. We should now have, but we don't. I forgot that we did lose an archer up here, which at the time didn't mean a whole lot, but now that I'm thinking about it, that will cause us not to get our 3 archer trigger for the technology boost down here. Let's take a look at our tech tree, and yes, machinery says own 3 archers. We only have 2 with the archer up to the north being killed off. Running another archer in the second city will cost me 7 turns of production. We do have good gold income, and so at the moment, I don't need that boost for at least 3 more turns. I think what I'm going to do is I'll start production on another task here in the second city, and I can just gold purchase that archer when it comes time that I do need to boost him. With that being said, let's take a look at what we can produce in the city. We do have ancient walls we can put online. There is a good looking theater square in the city right next to the city center. Not certain that we're going to pursue that just yet, and we will need to chop out that tile, likely involving moving Magnus over there to get the plus 50% yield on that chop tile. We could also work on our 3rd trader unit. We have our 2nd one cooking in the capital, and I think that is probably what I'm going to do here is start on that trader a little bit earlier. We'll get 3 turns deep into the trader here before our capital pops one out. We're going to continue to move this scout as needed. We can only move 1 tile right now. I'd like to see what China has left. They're kind of going the route of Samaria. It looks like America is slowly putting them out of business. Just looking at what we can see, this city will likely flip to America pretty soon. As long as they grow their pop here, it's kind of being severed off already. This city as well, it's got to have some wild loyalty issues being kind of sandwiched between 2 different civs there. And so I'm curious what they have up here that's keeping them alive. Probably 1, 2, and maybe a 3rd city here. And you can see they have another settler that they're sending out somewhere. I don't know where they think they're going to send that to because all this open land surely is going to have loyalty issues with America, is my assumption. But we'll take a look at what China does have left. We did get 1 envoy that we can plug in somewhere. Let's see if there's anywhere worth plugging in. We could take suzerainty of the city-state here, granting us plus 2 culture for each great person that we've earned, up to a total of plus 30%. That wouldn't be bad. We've got Buenos Aires that we could get 1 plugged into, and suzerainty here would take 3, and bonuses resources. Your bonus resources will behave like luxury resources, providing plus 1 amenity per type. Johannesburg, we could get our 2nd one and get ever closer to becoming suzerain here, granting each city plus 1 production for each improved resource, plus 2 after the industrialization era. Looking down here, I don't think we need to be looking down here, I don't think we need to be suzerain of any of the economic city-states. So I think the play here is either we put 1 into Johannesburg, or I'm going to save this one, and I'll plug in my policy card that grants 2 envoys for the first one sent to a city-state, and we'll plug that one into Buenos Aires at that point, so we become closer to becoming suzerain of them. America's happy that we pose no threat to their country, meaning they think we have a small military. We kind of do at this point. We haven't been mass-producing military units, so that's understandable. At this point, I can take 1 more step here. I'm going to have to negotiate open borders with China. I didn't realize that I didn't have that. And so China is just in a horrible spot at this point in the game. They're very angry with several civs, and they're at war with America and Norway, it looks like. Let's see what it'll take to get open borders with them. 1 gold. We will definitely accept that. It'll allow us to explore their territory. We'll get into that next turn, it looks like. Hopefully, if they move these units out of our way. They just did. The world enters the Renaissance era. So we are entering with a golden era here. We're also starting it off with plus 1 era score, it looks like. We've finished astronomy. We've also finished our civil service here. We're going to take a look at our policy slots. And before we change any policy, we also got inspiration boosted for colonialism. Okay, that's great. Before we do that, let's take a look at our civic tree. And remember, I want to plug in that card to grant me 2 envoys for the first one sent to a city-state. If I plug that in now, it'll take 7 turns before I can unplug it. I really just need it plugged in for like 1 turn, and so I will probably pay the gold tax to unlock it and get back to making 2, what do they call it, influence points per turn. So we need to do defense tactics before we can get pretty much past or into and past divine right, which is throttling everything behind it. And I think that time is now. I don't think we're going to be a target of a declaration of war, and so that's just going to be the way it is. We're going to have to hard research defensive tactics. We'll get started on that. We're going to move this scout into China's territory finally. We still need to make our dedication here for our golden era. So looking at the choices we have here, monumentality does not make a great deal of sense. It's all about purchasing with faith and using faith to get civilian units. We do have a little bit of faith. We're making a little bit of faith per turn, but remember, we don't have a holy site or anything that's pumping out a lot of faith, so that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Exodus of the Evangelists is all about your religious units, your missionaries, apostles, and inquisitors. Dracones is +3 population for cities settled on different continents and loyalty. And reform the coinage, which is what we're going to select here. It's the only one that makes sense for us, really. Your traders cannot be plundered. International trade routes provide +3 gold per specialty district in foreign cities. So we're going to select that one. It'll increase our gold output a little bit more. Again, we don't really need to do that per se, but nothing else in that scenario really made sense when 2 of them are based on a faith game and we just aren't in a game where we can play with faith. So let's sort these trade routes for our second trader out of our capital by gold. Just see what we can get here. We've got 18, 18, several options for 18 per turn. I don't see anyone that's going to give me an envoy if I send it to their way. So I think I'm going to send this one here. It's going to take 56 turns, but it's pumping out +1 production the entire time, +18 gold the entire time, along with +1 science and faith. So let's start that route there. As you send these routes out, it's going to create a road or a sea trade route, and that'll only increase the range from that city in the future for future trade routes. We're going to pop into our capital here, take a look at what we want to start production on. Again, we can do the Colossus. It's not really worth it here because we'll lose one of our great fish tiles, which has a bunch of food on them. We could get into our theater square, but remember, we're saving that tile in case we want to run a world wonder on that tile. We could do a unit. Actually, let's pop out that archer in 3 turns. That's not too bad, and we'll save a little bit of gold doing so. We'll take a look at our newest city's production queue. They just finished the granary, and in here, I think what makes a lot of sense is getting this harbor plopped down as soon as possible. Or sorry, we do have it plopped down. So let's just start working on that now. It'll increase our food and production for this city, so why not? Let's also check the tiles that we're working. So we're maximizing food right now. We're 1 turn away from a pop 3 city here, and that third one will likely go to the 2 food and 3 gold production tile. There's just not a lot of production in here. And to secure some, I think I'm going to purchase this tile here so that this city-state, I believe, yep, Kandy, does not get their hands on it. And that'll give us +1 food and +3 production, which is not where this third pop is going to go naturally, so we'll have to lock them in next turn. Okay. Unit was captured by France. It looks like that builder that we had standing over there just unfortunately got captured by them. There's nothing we could do. We were at war with France, and we're at war for 13 more turns, so there was no preventing them taking it. Again, it was a free builder, so not upset, and they were pretty far away from our usable homeland. We did get a Eureka towards machinery. That was our third archer popping out, it looks like. We have finished mass production, giving us access to shipyards and the Venetian arsenal. We do, in fact, have our third archer here. Let's send them to defend this city here. Again, once they get there, we'll just fortify until needed. I think here we're going to pop into cartography. Why don't we do that now? It's boosted. It'll take 3 turns, just like some of these back here that aren't boosted. And so it's not really hindering us from progressing. I do really want to know what this tech here is and this tech down here is as well. So why don't we do cartography and then likely machinery afterward. We can reevaluate, but we'll go into it with that mindset. In our capital here, let's throw up ancient walls. It's going to take 2 turns. Why not get them online? That'll give us a ranged defense from the city center if we do have a barbarian come into our borders here, or if we do go to war. Again, we're in a very defensible. Oh, more wars being declared. A lot's on city-states, it looks like. We're in a very defensible area with our cities there. Ooh, we got to get this scout out of here. Unfortunately, we're going to try and buy some time. He's on a cliff face, and so we really need to get to this tile to get into the water and run if we're going to have a chance. He might just be a lost cause, but we'll keep moving him around as we can. We're in a very defensible area here on our homeland. If you're coming in with land units, you really only have 2 tiles that you can plop units on and not have a movement modifier, a negative modifier coming out of the sea. And same with this city, you only have 1 tile that you can attack from, and it's got a cliff face. And so those land units will have to come on land on this tile, step forward, allowing at least 2 turns of shooting at them if we get walls online. So it does make a lot of sense to get walls going. I haven't been prioritizing them just yet, but I think that is what is going to be happening now. Why don't we start on the shipyard in our capital? It's 14 turns, but it's a huge bonus for us. If you're reading all the benefits that we get here, we'll get +1 food and +4 production just to begin with. So 14 turns, it's a huge benefit to have it in the city. We did get this quadrime into our territorial waters here, so we'll put him on rest and repair. We have finished researching cartography. We do have our 3rd trader. It's going to be 3 out of 3 here in our 2nd city. And it looks like we're actually getting some better gold output per turn, which might be due to our golden era getting +3 for each specialty district I believe it was in the city that we're sending it to. Why don't we trade with Norway here? It's a pretty short trade route, 38 turns, +1 production, +25 gold, +1 faith and culture as well. We could alternatively get a envoy. I think the 25 gold is worth it. Let's do it. This scout is still alive for now. He is running for his life. If we move here, at least this crossbowman is going to have to step forward and then shoot us. We'll see what happens, though. They might just decide to shoot one of the city-state troops instead. We're going to start researching machinery back here. It's boosted for 2 turns. We did unlock steam power back here, which has canals and the Panama Canal. We also get railroads and +2 movement for embarked units, which wouldn't be bad to have. Our 2nd city here, 31 turns for a shipyard. I don't think that's smart at the time being. Let's see what Colossus does. Yeah, it would wipe out 2 good pearl tiles, so I don't want to do that. I'm thinking in this city for now, we are going to do ancient walls. That'll be 5 turns. It's also about to grow to 10 pop in this next turn. And speaking of population, we've forgotten about this city for a little bit here, so let's make sure we get the correct tiles. Oh, great. It grew so fast, it looks like. Wait a minute. I'm confused. Maybe the UI just realized that it was working the wrong tiles. But anywho, we are on the tiles that we want in the city, so no action needed there. This archer has arrived here in Geelong. We'll set them up to defend. Let's pop into quick deals. It's showing that we've got something. Is it anything worth trading for? It doesn't look like it. No great works on sale. Some Diplo favor, not really willing to pay for anything there. So there's nothing. Horses. Okay. Nothing worthwhile there. We could get a builder up here in Geelong and get this farm repaired and maybe pop down some more farms for the time being. Something to think about. I'm not sure why this. Are we at war with Kandy? We are. We could potentially yoink a builder from them. If we don't do it, we don't do it. I wouldn't be too upset. If we do get that builder, it would be pretty nice to have. We'll try our luck. I know that there's probably quite a few barbarians still roaming this area here, and so I am going to send this scout just away. We're going to step towards the coast. We can't embark this turn. We will next turn. There's a meteor shower. This looks like it's by the France border, probably up by our 4th city here.
Remember that people break down too.
We have finished researching machinery. We have also finished defensive tactics. Let's take a look at our policy cards. And I just realized my mistake. Last time we unlocked a Civic, we did not plug in our new cards. So let's take a look what we need here. Don't need any of these. We could get +3 housing or +6 gold. Not really worth it. I think all I need to do is plug in Diplomatic League. We'll keep our literary tradition plugged in. Set this policy, immediately come into our envoy screen and send 1 to Buenos Aires. That should count as 2, and it did. And from here, so we missed out on the builder. They were able to sneak them away in time. No problem. Let's put them back on alert in our city center. Not really interested in attacking Kandy. I don't think I really gain anything from them. You know what? Let's evaluate that idea. They do have some good food tiles in here. They have a lot of good food tiles in here. This city is primed for expansion. It is in a pretty good location. It's on a one land tile, so it's got a canal running from this inland lake directly into the ocean. It is a coastal city, which gives us our benefits as John Curtin. I think it would not be a bad idea if we're at war with them to begin with, to start thinking about sending some units towards them and see if we can yoink that city-state before this war ends. Something to think about. I'll take a look at it. Right now we popped into our technology tree. We need to select our next tech to research. Building 2 universities could be done. I think we already have one that we gold purchased for 1,000 gold, and so we have 1,500. We could definitely purchase the second one, so we don't have to waste turns on it. That would save us, it looks like 2 turns off of this research, bringing it down to 4. We could also do buttresses or military tactics, neither of which I think I'm going to be able to boost. Why don't we do buttresses and reveal this last tech here? We are tied for first place in terms of distance traveled on the tech tree. So we're sitting in a good spot. Remember, I think it was 2 episodes now ago that we were looking at our science output. We're at 108. America was a close second. They're at 93, we'll call it. 48, 78, 84, 66, 63, 108. Yeah, so we are moving on the tech tree. Let's pop into our civics tree here. I think we're going to do naval traditions solely because it is boosted. It's also on the path into divine right. So we will in fact do naval traditions. This unrevealed civic just dead ends, and so military training and that civic might just get left in the dust if we don't realize that we need them. We are tied in last place for distance traveled on the civic tree, which is kind of sad. Looks like America's sitting in here somewhere, so they're 4 levels beyond us. We just don't have great culture output, and we could turn that around really fast if we wanted to. Yeah, that's kind of depressing. 16 per turn for us, 77 per turn, 56, 44, 69, 66, and 43. We do have a governor title. Do we need anything plugged into Magnus at the time being? No. We could sit on it, and I think we will. Why don't we take a look at what units we can send into Kandy? Maybe. Okay, I'm going to spend 250 gold, immediately upgrade this into a crossbowman. Next turn, I can start moving them in towards Kandy. Let's also pop into Geelong and see, can we, it would take 17 turns for Trebuchet. Why don't we take a look at gold purchasing that? Alternatively, we could buy a siege tower, which allows us to just march a siege unit directly in and negate any wall defense that they have. Not a bad idea. I wonder, oh, I don't have the movement speed to get the crossbowmen out and allow for a gold purchase here. So that'll have to be another turn. Let's move on. What is this? Friendship expired. Okay, we need to renew our friendship with Norway. China saw a natural disaster. They need some help. We'll upvote that. Again, if we have the opportunity to put gold or production towards that, we will. Looks like everyone voted for him, which is shocking. Did America vote? They did. And they actually upvoted 9 times for that, even though they're taking over all their cities. And they were, I think they were at war with China even. Shocking. This scout, I think it's worth to send into the great unknown here. And if he dies, then so be it. But let's unveil what we can in here. Going back to our homeland. Okay, it hasn't actually progressed a turn yet, so we can't step that crossbowman out just yet. Our quadrime here is full health. Why don't we send him towards Kandy and he'll help assist if needed. Remember, the scout is just stepping forward 1 tile at a time, hopefully not walking into a barbarian trap. Looks like we're going to be safe. We can get onto one of these landmasses. We have finished a research of buttresses. Continue to walk the scout forward. It's a little bit of a risk to stay in the water. I had a feeling that this wasn't much land here. Getting up here would be fine, but again, it looks like it's probably just a skinny 1 land tile, or maybe it's even chopped off here. So staying in the water is okay, I think. We haven't seen any barbarian units yet. Looking at our tech tree, we need to select something to research. Building 2 shipyards, we're well on our way on the first shipyard. We could potentially gold purchase our second one. We need to build a niter mine, and I don't believe we've unlocked, or at least we haven't found any niter. We have unlocked it. Let's take a look, see if I can search for niter and see where it shows me. No, 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 no. Okay, so we have 1 possibility of niter up here. 1, 2, 3. We could get to that. We could just buy our way to it, plop down a mine, and get the boost for that one. We don't need to do that right at the moment. It is a little way off in our tech research tree here. Why don't we get started on, I think gunpowder makes the most sense here. We're not going to be able to build an armory quick enough to bother with getting the boost for it. We can also look at buying our second university, which will give us the boost on printing. Looking at it now, I'm not too worried about it. We don't really need to unlock this since it's not feeding into any other tech. Same thing down here with siege tactics. If we don't get it right away, we don't get it right away. So looking at this, let's do military tactics first, then gunpowder and banking. We'll get this tech unveiled. And then at that point, we're selecting between these three techs, I think. We'll keep that in our playbook here. We're going to step this guy forward, get a little bit more vision towards Kandy, even though he's not going to attack at the time being. Let's move this crossbowman forward one and rest there. We do have production unlocked in this city now. Let's see what we can work on. We do need a builder up here. It takes 6 turns. That's not bad. We don't have enough population yet to put down any of our other districts, so that's okay. We do need a second university, but at 21 turns, I think it would make more sense to purchase that. Ancient walls wouldn't be bad. Lighthouse, I think, is the move. 10 turns, but it gets us plus gold, plus housing, plus amenities. We do have a great admiral to recruit. It grants +1 sight range for all naval units, allows all naval units to move over ocean tiles without the normal technology requirements. That's not a factor. We're already beyond that in the tech tree. But why don't we take that for the +1 sight range of all naval units? We'll recruit them here. We need to select something in the city for production. A university would make sense, but that's too long. Same with shipyards. I don't need another district at the time being in the city. I think from here, I want to work on a builder, take a few extra turns, but when it's done, either I can keep him down here, improve tiles, or send him up here where he's really needed. This great admiral, we're just going to retire him immediately, give us that +1 sight on all our naval units. We do have a galley here. I just noticed that we can send towards Kandy, and I think I will. It's a coastal city, so I can pop 1 ship on either side of them and start attacking. Continue to explore China. We're going to send this guy down here. We now know what all this landmass looks like. Let's continue forward because I can see shallow shore there, which means there's a... oh shoot, we didn't buy our trebuchet here. Let's buy them right now. Where are we at? 800 gold. We're still sitting at 1100 gold, and we're making 157 per turn, which is awesome. We can step forward here. Let's take a pot shot at the city center just to let them know we mean business. We'll do that. We can't move the trebuchet this turn. We don't want to walk this guy up just yet because he could potentially start taking damage before we want him in there. Kandy's going to step forward, attack our crossbowmen. Hopefully doesn't kill them. Ooh, oh man, 71 damage in a turn. That was pretty crazy. That had been a really high roll for them, I would think. We're just about done finding all this land here, and it looks like I was right. There's 3 Chinese cities here. This one, it says full loyalty, but it's just barely pumping out loyalty, plus 1.2. This one's got 26 per turn. This one's got 12.3. That's actually more loyalty than I expected in here. And it looks like they did plop down their other settler, and that one's fully loyal as well. So, shocking. They're holding their own right now against America. We're going to finish up this land here. Let's take this trebuchet. We'll step them forward 1 tile. Can't attack. Hopefully, I can't imagine Kandy would attack that unit, but they very well could. We'll stay on our toes there. We did find a knight that was crossing the sea here. Let's just take a shot at him. Let's also click into this galley. We got the gold for this. Why don't we upgrade him? We're going to move him forward and then upgrade. It's just like with promotions where I use up as much movement speed as I can, leave 1 movement remaining in the turn, and then upgrade them.
Tactics mean doing what you
We have
can.
finished researching military tactics. We have the scout. He's got just a little bit more we can discover. Oh, wow. Okay, I was wrong. There is a city in here for Beijing. Okay. Why don't we take this scout? There's still some land to the south that we haven't looked at. We've got a scout in here. Let's send him. We'll take a look at what we can down there. We've just about reached the limits here. We've got this ship we'll continue to send around the coast. We do have the ability to attack with our city. That would kill them. I'm wondering if this archer would kill him. It looks like they will. We'll take the chance. It did not. It leaves them with 1, maybe 2 health left. Why don't we sink him with this quadrime here and move on with our lives? I just didn't want him to step onto this land here, and then he could start pillaging this campus, and I couldn't shoot over the mountains to kill him, which would really stink. This trebuchet is still sitting pretty. I worry about stepping him up here and getting him killed. But on the other hand, this man-at-arms did step over to the other side. We can't pillage. We can't attack. We're just going to have to rest here. This wouldn't be a bad battle. We would actually come out victorious, but I don't want to fight it where Kandy can then attack with their city and do a lot of damage. So I'm going to hopefully bait them into coming up, stepping up and attacking me up there. We'll see what happens with the trebuchet in their land. Looking at the tech tree, we need to make a selection here. It's either banking or gunpowder. Since we're kind of at war a little bit, let's do gunpowder. Maybe it helps us take over Kandy. That'll remain to be seen. Kandy's going to shoot this trebuchet with their city. They did step the man-at-arms back into their city. We do have a World Congress, so this I believe this is what we had last time. Yeah, luxury policy. So remember last time we lost our, I believe it was turtles to no amenities. I also want to make it so that turtles duplicated give amenities as well. We need to upvote this at least a little bit. The hope here is if it doesn't win, we at least block it from being no amenities. But we've got 6 turns, or sorry, we've got 6 votes plugged in there. Mercenary companies, this is producing or purchasing military units is plus 100% the cost or minus 50% of the cost. Let's do minus 50% production. Just 1 vote in there is fine with me. Let's try our luck and see what we get on the outcome there. There's some flooding in France. So minus 50% production on military units and no amenities on truffles. You know, that's not the worst outcome. That should mean now that the turtles are giving us our amenities back. Truffles lost out. I think we have 1 truffle tile. So yeah. Oh well, I think we traded. Well, we traded -2 for -1. That's not bad. We did finish our civic here. We can plug back in charismatic leader, giving us +2 influence per turn towards earning envoys. We could get +11 gold with harbor adjacency plus 100%. That wouldn't be bad. We're pumping out a lot of gold already per turn. We want to keep natural philosophy in for sure. That's a lot of science per turn. I think urban planning has overstayed its welcome. Why don't we put in naval infrastructure is getting us +11 gold per turn. We'll set that policy. This trebuchet should be able to tank 1 more turn. So let's go ahead and attack the city walls here. I'm also going to pop into the city here and see if I can't gold purchase a siege tower. 400 gold, either a siege tower or another trebuchet. Ooh, this one's tough. I think I'm going to do the siege tower. Can't move him this turn. Next turn he'll move on with these warriors, and then we'll start moving into Kandy's boundaries there. Into our civics tree, we just need to get into divine right as fast as we can at this point, which means we're doing feudalism. It's got a few cards that we could potentially use. Yeah, +2 extra build actions on newly trained builders. We'll stay on feudalism for now. We need to skip a turn with that warrior still. We're moving this ship up slowly but surely. Actually, we're going to try and actually bait them maybe a little bit into attacking that quadrime instead of my trebuchet, which would be preferred. Gonna take this scout. It looks safe. There's a barbarian clan there, but it doesn't look like they've spawned any sea units yet. So we can sneak in here, discover the last few tiles that we hadn't yet. And why don't we, this is a good point to look at getting that niter online. We've got 6 turns left on this builder here. Again, we've got the gold. We're making 159 per turn. It's hard to say no to buying anything at the time being. So 310 gold for the builder. We'll step him up on this island, plop a mine down on that niter as soon as I can purchase those tiles. By the way, I'm looking up here at these tiles, and the insanity of crabs is crazy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 crab tiles that they wouldn't be all workable by one city. If you had a island tile here, at least these 7 would be, which would be crazy. Unfortunately, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there's not really. If you plant a city down here, which you could, you have to be 3 tiles away from another city center unless it's across a ocean tile without connecting land, which this would qualify. Then it's only 2. And so 1, 2, you could settle here. 1, 2, 3. That buys you 2 fish tiles. Sorry, 3 fish tiles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 crab tiles. That is looking like a very good city that I want to found. It's very possible we might nab a gold purchased settler here, march him up, grab that island tile there. I don't think we have much competition, but getting that online and grabbing all those resources would be pretty wild. We've got our +1 envoy to spend here. Let's plug him into Buenos Aires. That'll get us our suzerainty here. Harold with Norway might be a little bit upset that we kind of yoinked him from them. But with that being said, we're going to play our one last turn here. Click the next turn button. So Kandy is going to range attack our trebuchet. That will be it for the trebuchet. We're going to have to step him back and heal him in our territory. We need to protect him, unless we could pillage and gain 50 health. I don't think that buys us a whole lot. That'll eat the entire turn of movement from this unit, basically buying him one more turn of standing there, tanking a shot, and he'll be roughly the same health by the end of that turn, and we'll have to step out anyway. So the move there is stepping back one tile out of range distance from Kandy. We'll get him healed up. We're going to step this quadrime up as far as we can and ranged attack Kandy. We're also going to take this ship and move them as close as we can to Kandy. They can potentially attack next turn. Let's pop into quick deals. I want to sell off these extra resources. Why don't we sell to Norway and sea turtles? Sure, looks good. We're getting a lot more gold back. We're up to 164, it looks like. I do want to pop into Norway and redeclare this friendship. We could also check if he wants to do, oh, let's see. We don't need religious. We don't really want cultural. We could do economic. I think we already have a trade route with him that's cooking a lot of gold per turn, so we'll increase that gold per turn. Gives us an inspiration for having a level 1 alliance with a civ for diplomatic service. We'll take that. This builder is ready. We're going to send him direct to the Niter. We're going to take our siege towers, step them forward. We're going to lock those units together and start walking them into Kandy. See if we can't take that city by siege. Move the scout out as far as we can. And that'll bring us to the end of this turn. Is there anything that we need to look at here? And I think the answer is no. And so the next episode will be hopefully the Siege of Kandy and taking that as our 5th city. We're also going to look at getting a 6th city settled up here. And with that being said, we'll see you on the next episode. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe,